Elementary to me was full of ups and downs, but the next step to the middle classes was a crack to the floorboards. And that's what I'm gonna tell you in this video. Now kind of in this video, this one's gonna be a bit of a mix, because pretty much I'm gonna be telling the stories that I mostly remember from middle school. As a former middle schooler, I always felt self-consciousness and had some anxieties. Especially with some students that are around me that always think that they're the cool kids. Yeah, apparently 7th and 8th grade were pretty much the trying to fit in years. My oldest sister lived in Missouri at the time, my second oldest sister was in her final years of high school, my third oldest sister was joining clubs, and my little brother, basically an elementary athlete. But where do I stand? Well, basically I stand in the circle of lying, but at least my family knows that I could be better than what I was. And at least I know there's one thing that I'm good at. Drawing and writing. Middle school were the 2 years where it actually got me into reading as well. I kinda used to be one of these bookworm kind of people. I may not remember them, but I remember used to reading all those kinds of books, like history books, encyclopedias, fantasy books, fanfics. I also used to be one of those fanfic writers as well, but that started in my first year of high school. I'm so embarrassed. But my most favorite at the time has to be US history books. I was the middle school student that was totally into American history. I used to be good at that stuff, but not anymore like I used to. Even though I was good at it at the time, there was a lot of studying that I had to go through. In social studies, we had these finals at the end of our middle school as what we call the Constitution test. After the announcement, I actually printed out lots of papers of it, and reading them page by page just for a knowledge warm-up. And this lasted for about a month or so. It was up until I noticed the Constitution test was only like a couple months away. Wow. Must have prepared a bit too quickly. By the time when we were getting close to the test date, we had to use flashcards. And every couple of times a week, we had to do one of these practice tests to test out which knowledge we learned so far until we get to the big test. Those practice tests were also part of our grade. I did fail on a couple, but at least I kept on trying. I think I remember there were at least 4 or 6 kind of practicing tests until we get to the real test itself. I was very nervous, but my third oldest sister knew the ropes and helped me study in every step of the way. But she has her own tests though at the time, so if it ain't her helping me, then my brother has to help me with the flashcards. So in the way, it's kind of a switch back and forward, even though my brother didn't know what final I was taking at the time. But overall, it wasn't really that much of a challenge, but remembering all the answers is where it kinda gets to me. Now, there were some answers that were actually pretty easy for me. In fact, so easy that I could just remember it within a flash. However, there were some that I find a bit... yeah, like that. After a couple of weeks, I actually got the hang of it. When the actual test came, it actually became an easy breeze. Well, sort of. I usually go with the A's or B's during middle school. And so on the test, I actually got a B. But at least it's a passing grade, so I couldn't complain. You know what's the coolest thing? Is that this test was actually made easy by the most awesomest social studies teacher. She was friendly and would always help out on every student whenever they're stuck in a problem. Now, there were some good teachers during my middle school life, but of course, there's always gotta be some bad ones as well. Like one of my old science teachers from middle school. He was a bit nice in some ways, but whenever we work, he becomes a bit strict. A little too strict, I might add. He did used to be a principal at the school, but then he got replaced and then got a job as a science teacher. Whenever I ask for help from him, he does help me, but he sounds like he's a bit more serious, as if I caught him on a bad day. He could be a little bit fun though, but couldn't go any further than that. That's all I could explain about him though. There's not much more that I knew about him, nor find anything interesting in particular, except that he could be a bit off at some points. So yeah, sometimes teachers could be a bit of a pain, but like every other person that had an experience in middle school, that students can be worse on the other hand. Now, I don't mind about them as long as they don't annoy me, but I know there were a few students that would always annoy me back in those days. The few students that annoyed me was from the boys' side, because it's mostly the ones that are getting into working out or athletic sports, and of course wanted to pretend to be cool because they wanted to get the ladies. Most of the boys I knew were always been the pain, but I'm gonna put my main focus on this one boy, and this boy we'll call Gary. Gary was the most annoying and will always think that he's the best of everything. Even during in and out of class, he could be one kid of a jerk. even to me and my friends at most. I do remember this one time where he got me most annoyed, like his boo jump scares, but at that time this is where he took a step further. We were undressing out of our gym uniforms to get ready for our next class, but in the boys' locker room, the lights would turn off every now and then. That whole lights off thing can last only like a couple of seconds or so, but at least it does turn back on afterwards. I just couldn't tell if it was like faulty wiring, a ghost, or even the gym teacher himself. Hey, can you turn the lights back on? That wasn't me, that was a ghost. Psst, hey, did it get by it? Hopefully. Wait, where was I? Oh yeah, Gary. So one day, Gary, the other boys, and I, we were all getting ready for our next class. When... Yeah, he did a high-pitched scream on us. So much so that he might have screamed to the point where our ears might have bled. I think that's all I got to say about him. Let's say he was the bully, but he's pretty much second worst, as I dealt with worse people in the past than him. Okay, there's one more thing I had to share from my middle school life, and that is a middle school graduation. Basically, it's one of those culmination activities, where middle school graduates get certificates of completion instead of diplomas. To me, I didn't even know what those were. But of course, when I was there, I had a sore throat. I just have no idea what is with me and allergies during celebrations. It's just not normal to me. But hey, at least I got myself a certificate and away from middle school. So yeah, it's a bit of a short video, but there's not that much more that I remember from middle school since it's been a long time. I think there's more memories from middle school, but I think I'd rather just save them for other different videos. And besides, those kind of 2 years actually came and went. So yeah, my first video of the year. Yeah, I apologize that I made you guys wait for so long. Yeah, I was really busy with a few things. One is this video, and the other is a comic. A comic series, I may add. First off is the video, yeah, I've been struggling with this one. Middle school was a challenge to remember. I tried to get it perfect as best as I can, but at least I got it done though. I was gonna scrap it and move on, but since I got halfway, I just think, why not? Just get it done and over with. And so I pushed on, and here we are. And now the comic series. It's called Fourthly Puzzled, and it's about 3 women named Georgia, Tina, and Rachel raising a little boy named Andy, all living together in a small city of Alnanza. As of recording this, or re-recording this, I may add, I posted 5 on my DeviantArt so far, with hopefully more on the way, and I'll leave a link to my comic series below. So yeah, that's all you need to know from where I've been. So yeah, make sure to give this video a like and comment on what you think about it. And if you want to see more, click on the subscribe button below or click on my icon to see more videos. You can also find me on Twitter and DeviantArt, and once again check out my comic series. Thanks for watching everyone, and I'll see you all again in the next video.